depop for short. They depopulate their barns of thousands of chickens, which basically means they all go on slaughter trucks, and then they just fill the barns up again with younger chickens.
Hey, hi, I am at Pear Tree Animal Sanctuary in Somerset. Somerset, that's right?
It is in Somerset.
We've been spending the day helping out, but I wanted to speak to Katherine today. Hello, Katherine, how are you?
Hi, I'm amazing today because we've just had this incredible group of volunteers who've done so much. So we're, pretty overwhelmed actually, and very grateful. Thank you.
I'm overwhelmed, so I can't imagine how you feel. So, but you're doing an amazing job here. How long have you been here? When did you start?
We moved here about 5 years ago, and then we were like, what are we ever going to do with all this land? And then about 2.5 years ago, we realised, it was probably more like 4 years ago, we realised that what we wanted to do was rescue. And then when we started was about 2.5 years ago, we first got our pigs who came, and then suddenly it's just really exploded from there actually.
Amazing. And you have got quite a few animals here. What have you got going on? So you've got the pigs that we've mentioned.
Yeah, so we have pigs, and we have I think there were 9 pigs until one of them suddenly gave birth a couple of weeks ago. And she had come, we'd been told by the place that we saved her from, she was about to be shot actually, along with her 2 friends. And we rescued her from there, and we were told that she hadn't been with a fertile male at all, so there would be no chance she was pregnant. So it was a bit of a shocker when she suddenly had 8 piglets. So now we have 17 pigs.
Yeah, and they are adorable up until you pick them up, and we've noticed that they don't like being picked up at all. They do a bit of squealing. But you've also got a project going on with your hens.
Yeah. So here we have about 4 acres of land, which means that we're quite limited with the amount of grazing animals or bigger animals that we can keep here. So one of the things that we started doing last year, about this time last year actually, was to rescue ex-commercial hens and rehome them. And that is something that we can do with the space that we've got, and then manage to save a lot of lives, really. So we have, I think it's something like 6,000 hens now have come through here, I think in total, maybe even slightly more, I can't quite remember, but it's around 6,000 possibly. We did a rescue about 3 or 4 weeks ago that was 1,300, so it was, it's very full on when it happens, but you just want to save every single life that you possibly can.
You do. And you've got a separate area for the hens as well, and then the ones that are a bit ill, a bit more poorly, then you have a separate area for them to look after them and help them recover, is that right?
Yeah, so very often when they come, I don't know how much people know about the commercial setting for chickens, but when they are laying, they are bred to lay about an egg a day, pretty much, so 350 eggs a year sort of thing. And in their closest relatives in the wild lay 1 a month, so it's basically like a human menstrual cycle,
Yeah.
So it is a really unnatural thing for them to have to do, and it really just depletes all of their natural the nutrients and everything that they take in. They end up not particularly well. So there's lots of reproductive issues with the hens. We'll get a lot that come through who have egg peritonitis, which is like an infection inside. They will get egg bound, so the eggs get stuck inside them and they can't quite get them out. They'll have prolapses. And the other thing that we get a lot of, to be honest, is broken legs, because they get picked up by their legs. And I'd like to say that everybody picks them up with 2 legs, which is the DEFRA designated standard way of doing it. Even that is horrific to watch, but it can be quick and stress-free if people do it right. But it doesn't happen. People pick them up by 1 leg and chuck them around, and they end up dislocated or broken. So we end up with quite a lot that aren't particularly well when they get here, and then we don't rehome them straight away. We will keep them. They go into our little hospital, and we look after them, and we do the best we can. We do lose quite a few too, because they're very delicate in there. They get shocked quite easily.
Yeah.
Chickens, and the move can be very stressful for them. But the ones that we can save, we keep, and then They stay in, we have like separate coops for the ones that are really well, and then the ones that are not quite so well, and then when they hang out here and we end up with tons of chickens living here, we're like, do you know what, we probably ought to rehome some of these now.
But that's the difficult thing as an animal sanctuary. You want to rescue all of them, but if you've got limited space, it's not very good for you to do that, because you're going to be not going to be able to give the animals the care that they need. So that's really responsible. I'm getting pecked at the moment, which is fine. I don't mind. So I think it's great that you want to continue rescuing them, but doing what you can within your own capacity and knowing your own means, which I think a lot of people don't think about. They think, why can't they take them on? And that's really responsible of you. How old are the chickens when you rescue them then?
They're 72 weeks old, like across the board, because that is what the industry dictates. So basically 72 weeks is what, a year and 4 months or something. And chickens can live to 8-10 years old, if they have a really good life. But when they're 72 weeks old, apparently their eggs are useless for the egg industry. So what they do in the farms is they call it depopulation, or depop for short. They depopulate their barns of thousands of chickens, which basically means they all go on slaughter trucks, and then they just fill the barns up again with younger chickens, because the supermarkets won't accept the eggs if they are from chickens older than 72 weeks. So it's something that we actually only learned that last year when we were rescuing, and we were absolutely, really, really shocked and distraught.
I didn't know that supermarkets did that as well, so it's not just the farmers, it's the supermarkets too.
I believe so, yeah, that's what I've heard. And also from the lion stamp on the eggs, apparently they need to be 72 weeks or younger. That's what I've heard. So I believe so. You've got a little posse around your feet.
Which is weird, because I used to be afraid of hens, so this is a big thing for me, and I picked one up earlier, and that was great, so I'm proud of myself. But you don't just have the sanctuary here, you've got an Airbnb on the side of the house.
Yeah, we do. So we started doing that a couple of years ago, and it's really popular. And the wonderful thing is that when people stay, often it's families, so they'll bring their kids in, and they want to have a look around the sanctuary, and we ask people for donations, which is great, so it boosts the sanctuary as well. And we have had, honestly, like I can count a good 3 or 4, there's maybe more now, families that have told us that they have gone vegetarian since they've been here. When I say vegetarian, it would be great if it was vegan, but at least it's a start. But the fact is that we tell everybody, whenever we go around to see the animals, we tell them each of their individual stories, tell them their names, tell them who they are, tell them their characters, because every single animal has such a unique personality. It's a ridiculous thing to say, of course they do, like if humans do, then animals do, that's just one of those things. But the fact is that's a surprise to some people. And they also hear a little bit about the industries, like the dairy industry, for example. Our goat babies, who I know are across a lot of sanctuaries. These goat babies, they were from a big rescue. They came from a dairy farm, and what would have happened to the boys if they hadn't have ended up coming here, and what would have happened to the girls, being breeding machines and blah, 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 having their babies taken. So they hear stuff that I guess they haven't heard before. And we feel like it's a little bit of outreach that we can do, one-to-one with families and people who come and stay, and it does seem to have an impact. So that's
I 100% agree. It is definitely a form of outreach. And if people want to support you, what can they do?
Any number of things. So like we have wish lists on Amazon, there are always things that we need here. Like somebody just sent us a bucket the other day and we're like, yay, we've got another bucket, because honestly our buckets break all the time. So even just really simple things like that are amazing for us to get. If you're nearby, come and offer some time, because like today, so suddenly some jobs that have just been waiting for so long have been done today, and it's been such a joy to see it happen, with a big group of people. So anytime people can offer is really, really gratefully received. And of course funds wherever we can get them. We are, we've always got vet bills, and we've always got, supplies to get in, and it gets more and more expensive as we get more and more animals coming through. So yeah.
And there's a mutual friend of ours, Daryl, Defender of Animals. I don't have one of his t-shirts on today. I've got someone else's t-shirt. But he has some t-shirts, and he gives 50% of the profits to here, and then 50 to another sanctuary that used to be down his way, but they're now in Wales, I believe. So that's another way that you can help out. But time, like we've had so much fun today, and I didn't expect all these people to turn up, but we've built a new enclosure for the piglets. We've built like a new fence over here, and we've cleared some fencing from the old pig bit. And what else did we do? What else have we done? I've forgotten.
I think that's enough, but I think there was more too.
We put the new bed in the pigs.
Yeah, so yeah, just loads, things that will make such a huge difference now to us. I think we've had the goats have been in their orchard for all over the winter, and they've just depleted it of any greenery, and so we wanted to get them out. But the problem is when they're out and they're in the yard all the time, they just come and mess around with the chickens and sort of get in the way. So now we've got a fence that means that they can have all the greenery over there, and they can be really happy and safe, and so it's lovely. It's amazing. And the piglets, oh my goodness. That is just the cutest thing ever. They're only 2.5 weeks old now, but they've now got their first proper outdoor experience. We've been letting them out, but they just run around a bit and then run back in. But now they are outside, and it's so beautiful to see, isn't it?
Yep, definitely. And you've got Winnie, who thinks she's a chicken as well.
Yeah, Winnie does think she's a chicken. Winnie the pig. She's been with us about 2 years, and she came when she was 4 years old when she arrived. She was a pet. We've had a couple of pigs that came who were pets, but of course pigs aren't great in the house. I think she was eating their skirting boards and breaking through their doors, so she came a couple of years ago. But because she was more of a people person than a pig person, she'd not really met any other pigs. And when we've tried to introduce her to 3 of our pigs individually, and it's really not worked out, she's just no thank you. I'd far rather just be here with the people. So she's basically made friends with all the chickens. Cool. And they all go into her ark and just sit with her all day, and she's super happy with that. So yeah.
Well, you do a great job, and you have an amazing place here, an amazing setup, and I want to thank you from all the vegans that you're giving a home to all these beautiful beings.
Do you know what? I mean, it's a huge pleasure to be able to do that. I mean, obviously it's hard work, but it's a massive pleasure, and I feel like we are in a really privileged position because we get to see the really nice side of veganism, and actually even the rescue can be harrowing at times. It can also be really, really rewarding, and you get the love of the animals and they're all around you, and I have the utmost respect for you guys and everybody else that does the activism work out there, and the save vigils and things like that I know would be so harrowing and difficult. So everybody plays different roles.
Exactly, and that's why it's important in places like this, because it gives activists a bit of a respite, so they can come and see all the work they're doing is going to somewhere like this. But I'll put all the links in the description for the website and the Airbnb and the Amazon wish list and all of those things as well. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.